I'm going to talk about immigration. That's right. Immigration. Now, some people might be saying, oh, Lloyd, are you sure you want to be taking on that topic? I mean, a lot of people get very angry about this one, and you may lose subscribers. And it's true that every single time that I make a video that is even faintly political in theme, I lose subscribers. But, I'm not in this just for the money, so, bye-bye to those people. I can probably do without you. But there are people who just, he's going to talk about immigration. Why? And they froth and foam at the mouth, and they engage their outraged chip, and they type messages all in big, shouty capital letters with loads and loads of exclamation marks filled with lots of completely unnecessary bile, vitriol and hatred, and then they unsubscribe and hit unshare, dislike and thumbs down and all those buttons they could think of, and they wish that there were more. Bye-bye to you now. But there's another category, a little bit more common, which may be thinking, oh, he's going to be talking about immigration. Great, I'll get the popcorn. Hey, talk away, man, because for me this is win-win. Because there are only two camps of opinion on the immigration debate, aren't there? There are only two. There are far too many immigrants coming in, or there are far too few immigrants coming in. Those are the only two possible views you could hold on this topic. And if he agrees with me, I'll be able to say, yeah, damn straight, yeah, he's saying it as it is. Yeah, you say it, guy, terrific, like, shouty comments, lol, exclamation mark, share with all my friends on Facebook, yeah. And by sharing it with my friends on Facebook, of course, what I'm doing is I'm saying to all of them, I'm a member of the in-group. I'm reminding you all that I'm a good guy. I'm in this camp, whichever the correct camp is, and we're all in this together, not like those other people who are all bad because they're in the other camp of opinion. I only make friends with people who agree with me on everything. But wait a minute, maybe I voice opinions that perhaps just hint at my being in the other camp, the wrong camp, in which case they get to have a wonderful moment of outrage and they get to write the shouty thing and perhaps self-righteously unsubscribe, and maybe they could still share it on Facebook because they'll be able to say, haha, I'm not in this group, I'm good, look at this man, he's bad, he's in the wrong camp, whichever camp that is. So what are the two camps? Well, I don't know which country you're in. You may be in a country which is not like Britain, but I think a lot of you are in countries where there are far more people trying and having difficulty getting into the country than there are trying to leave the country and having difficulty in doing so. Britain is certainly oversubscribed. In the southeast of Britain right now, most babies are born to mothers who were not born in Britain, and most people in Britain live in the southeast. Now in Britain, oh actually I can't say Britain, all right, in England, the nationalists have pretty much taken over Scotland right now, but in England, sorry Wales, the two parties that stand any reasonable chance of actually forming a government are the Conservative, which I shall put on your, is that your right? Yeah, on your right, yes, and the Labour Party, which is on your left. I'm a little bit confused here because the monitor next to the camera is of course a mirror image and everything's backwards. But that is your right, isn't it? And yes, that's your left. So the Conservative Party is supposedly right-wing. Now, of course, right-wing doesn't actually mean anything. It's a completely arbitrary label where you get a load of completely unrelated policies and package them all together and associate them with one party. But all those policies are subject to change. In fact, at pretty much any given policy, whatever you pick, at some point it has been advocated by the opposition party at some point in the past. They chop and change, but it's a completely arbitrary packaging of views into supposedly right-wing. Now, in the minds of the population of Britain, the Conservative Party is associated with representing the views of the owning classes, the landed gentry, the factory owners, the farm owners and so forth, the people who employ other people. Whereas the Labour Party, which is the supposedly left-wing party, which isn't actually left-wing, but never mind, besides left-wing doesn't mean anything, it supposedly represents the working man, the wage owners. So if a company does really well, these people pocket the profit, hooray, and these people don't lose their jobs, hooray. There is a general association in people's minds, which is quite unnecessary, but never mind, that this lot want less immigration and these people want more immigration. Now, why should that be so? Well, traditionally, these people, as I say, have been the owning classes. So if you're a factory owner, then you'd be all for immigration, wouldn't you? I mean, it's terrific. If you want to get skilled labour, you either have to poach it off another company and pay lots of money for it, or you have to train those people up, which takes time and costs money, or you can just get a skilled immigrant straight in and they'll be so happy to get a job. You'll be able to pay them less, and they're very hard workers, and you can get loads and loads of cheap labourers as well, and that's terrific. So they're going to be really pro-immigration, and they all want. I mean, my last three au pairs were all Latvians, and they were all super. Right, so these people are going to be naturally very pro-immigration. Whereas these people are going to be naturally very anti-immigration because they're the representatives of the workers whose jobs are directly threatened by the immigrants and who rely on all the services, the welfare, the National Health Service, the council housing and so forth, all those services which are being stretched to the limit because of all these immigrants. Only, wait a minute, I've got it back to front, haven't I? Because these people are supposedly saying there should be fewer immigrants, and these people should be saying that there should be more. So how does it manage to get back to front? Well, of course, both of these parties are founded on fundamental contradictions and falsehoods. How can the Conservative Party ever hope to be elected? And it does keep getting elected over and over. Because if it represented really just the views of the factory owners and the ruling classes, those people would be massively outnumbered in a democracy by all the workers. And so they would stand no chance ever of being elected. So they have to come up with strategies to appeal to a wider market of voters. And how do they do this? Well, they put themselves across as the party of strength, you see, of sensibleness. We are a strong, capable pair of hands. We give leadership, you see. We're a strong economy, strong borders. We are in control of our borders. We'll keep Johnny Foreigner out. Don't you worry, everyone. Vote for us. Vote for us. We're great. And by implication, the others must be incompetent idiots. Whereas this lot, though representing the views of the people who are most directly threatened by immigrants, they're not actually the ones running the party. See, the people who actually run the Labour Party, they're all suit-wearing, educated, middle-class types. And though they, of course, embrace the working classes and are very proud of any faint connection they may have with the working classes, and they completely ignore the fact that loads of people on this side of the House actually have working class backgrounds, but that's not part of the narrative they want to tell. And they will embrace the working classes, but with tongs, you understand, because there are just three things they don't like about the working classes. Everything they say, everything they do, and everything they believe. But apart from that, apart from what they say, do and believe, they love the working classes. They're the salt of the earth. They're wonderful, wonderful people. You should get to know them. I mean, the actual MPs might not know many of them, but you should get to know them. They're wonderful. So each side is actually sort of representing the wrong vested interest on this debate. Or is it? Because when have you actually heard either of these parties state clearly and plainly what they think the optimum number of immigrants is, or what policies might actually achieve that optimum? Generally speaking, the debate goes something like this. Those people are evil, 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 you hear? Oh yes, they want no immigrants to come into this country. And why? Why? Because they are, I get to use a magic word now. Oh, do? Yes, I get to use a magic word. A magic word is xenophobic. Yes, that's right, they're xenophobic because they are evil xenophobes. Now, of course, they're not actually evil xenophobes. That doesn't make any sense at all because, I mean, they are actually, sort of people like everybody else, and they have, wives and husbands and sons and daughters, and they run companies and they have business deals and so forth. And if they were actually evil, then they would do evil things, and no one would like them. No one would marry them or stay married to them. They'd hate their children would hate them. Their business partners would all desert them because they'd all have been swindled at some point. And so they can't actually be evil. And yes, it's also true, of course, that the richer, more educated classes tend to be the people who travel more and are far more likely to marry a foreigner and learn a foreign language and so forth. So actually, over there, they're the people who are probably the least xenophobic in their houses, or at least of those that we represent. But anyway, they are evil xenophobes because that's what fits the narrative I want the public to understand. And as evil xenophobes, they want to let no one in. They want to shut the borders because they're frightened of foreigners because they're evil. Vote for us, vote for us. We are not evil, therefore, by implication, we must be angels. Vote for me, sleep with me, I'm great, we're all great on this side. And anyone who posts a Facebook update associated with us will be on the side of the angels. The angels. Yes. Great. So that's generally what that side of the debate says. So what do we get from the other side? Those people are idiots! Well, they're not actually idiots. I mean, obviously, it can't actually bear any scrutiny that this accusation of idiocy, because they are actually almost entirely composed of well-educated types. I mean, he over there, for instance, has got a double first from Oxford. But, well, for the purposes of rhetoric, you understand, the narrative I want to get across to the general public, those people are incompetent, idiots, and oh, I need to use a magic word, don't I? Something soundbitey. Oh, I've got it. Yeah, right. I'm going to use unsustainable. Yes, their policy on immigration is unsustainable, which is a really good word to associate with long-term idiocy. If they're suggesting something which is unsustainable, that is going to strain all the resources of this country and has no end to it. No end to them. Then end to it. Then magic word. So unsustainable. They are all idiots, even though they're obviously not, and they would let everybody in. Yes, they think that we should completely open borders. Is that sensible? No, I think it is not. Vote for us. Vote for us. We are sensible. We are good. We are strong. Vote for us. Associate yourself with us because we are good and strong. Yeah. So each side is accusing the other one of holding a position that it quite flagrantly does not hold. These people over here are not actually saying that they should let no one in. I mean, where are they going to get their repairs from? And these people are not actually saying they're going to let everybody in, because that would make them just look, well, just ridiculous. No one is actually saying either of those things, and yet people are quite happy to accuse each other of things that they are quite obviously not qualified to accuse the others of. Now, it's reasonable to imagine that between 0 and infinity, there is an optimum number of immigrants that a country might let in. What is that optimum? Well, do you know what? I'm not going to tell you, but I don't have to tell you. You see, I have the luxury of not being required to come up with an optimum number, because I'm not trying to change anybody's behaviour on this. I'm not going to try to persuade you, my dear and respected viewer, that I think you should believe that there should be more or fewer immigrants to this country, for several reasons. One being, I don't know how many immigrants you think should be let into this country. So how can I tell you that you should think there should be more or fewer when I don't know the number? And do these people know what these people actually think? What number would they come up with? There's a delicious experiment. If only this could be organised. Let's imagine that somehow we get all the potential ruling parties to agree to come up in secret with a binding number that they have to stick to for the next 20 years or something. So how would they go about that? This lot would say, right, so we're going to be committed to this quite binding number, so we better not come up with a really small number for several reasons. One, people might accuse us of being evil, and also, actually, there already are loads of immigrants coming into Britain right now, and so if we pick a really low target, it's a target we're going to miss by miles, and we're going to look incompetent, and that's not very good. And besides, we do need our Latvian au pairs, so let's actually pick a higher number than they're expecting. So let's come up with what's actually reasonable, what is actually attainable and reasonably sustainable, and all that. How about about that many? Yeah, okay, right. We'll put that many. Okay, seal it in the envelope. And this lot, how's their debate going to go? Well, we can't actually pick infinity or absolutely. If we pick 5 times the current population of the country, that's just going to make us look absolutely ridiculous. So we've got to pick something surprising. Actually, let's pick a number that's lower than they were expecting us. So when they say, aha, we told everyone that they were idiots to pick up such a high number, we're going to wrong foot them by coming up with actually a smaller number than they were expecting, so we don't look so stupid. And what actually is a reasonable number? How about this many? What do you reckon? Okay, yeah, okay. Boom. And what numbers would they come up with? I think it's actually quite likely that they would come up with very similar numbers. And it's far from impossible that the numbers might actually overlap. This lot might actually come up with a lower, what it considers to be the optimum number, than this lot. And that would be hilarious. And it would prove that this entire debate has been a load of posturing hot air. And here's where I come to my point, dear viewer, because I'm not in a position to actually dictate policy in this country. I'm not an MP, I'm not in government, I'm not in opposition to the government. I don't have to come up with cogent arguments to counter the policies of the government. And I'm not trying to influence you one way or the other into one of these two camps. In fact, I would like you to spot the fact that maybe there are other possible opinions to have on this than just simply more or fewer. Now, I've read articles in papers where a journalist has written something really quite reasonable, well argued and backed up with facts and statistics, showing that immigrants do in fact contribute to the British economy. And some people, that's the entire debate. If they contribute to the economy, then they must be good in every way, as though that's everything. And then the next day, or even the next hour, I will read another article written by another very reasonable journalist who's backed up with facts and figures and so forth, the argument, and I think, oh, right, actually, yeah, you're right. They don't contribute to the economy. In fact, it's a long-term drain. If we bring in people to look after our old folk, then that's actually just a long-term pyramid scheme that's it's a bubble that's got to burst. And no, that doesn't work at all. And, oh, wait a minute, now I don't know what to think. So do they contribute to our economy, or don't they contribute to our economy? It's almost as though it's quite a complicated issue. So, what I say to you, my dear, respected and intelligent viewer, is if you are going to say something which requires other people to alter their behavior, if you say to other people you should accept more or fewer immigrants or whatever it is, then you're going to actually have to come up with a number, an optimum number of immigrants that you believe Britain should be letting in or have within its boundaries. And you've also got to come up with, and this is, I would say, considerably harder, a policy which would actually achieve that figure and then maintain it. So imagine there are at the moment imagine this is the optimum number of immigrants, but we've only got this number at the moment. Well, obviously what we're going to do, we've got to come up with a policy which increases the number until we get there. But then what's to stop that happening? Oh, no, hang on. Oh, no. So then you'd have to come up with another. What policy could actually halt things right there? Are you going to suddenly change the law and then have zero immigration? How's that going to work? If you can think of a policy that would actually come up with the optimum number and then maintain it, well, you're very clever. And I've never heard anyone come up with a policy that would actually do that. But if you come up with one, that would be fantastic. Well done, you. But until you come up with a policy that would actually achieve that, and until you state quite definitely what the optimum number of immigrants in whatever country you're in is, then everything you're saying is just hot air. You cannot accuse this lot of trying to let in more than the optimum number, or this lot trying to let in fewer, if you don't state what you think the optimum number is, and you haven't heard what they say the optimum number is. In fact, it's all hot air. So, I say to you, before you update your status in Facebook or whatever, and try to impress all your friends by being solidly in one camp or the other, you should perhaps do one of two things. One, state the number that you believe is the optimum number of immigrants so that the people hearing your argument can actually understand the context of it, a context which is entirely necessary for them to make up their mind whether you're right or wrong. Or two, and there is a second option, and it's one which I think you should really seriously consider, shut up.